messages were
This
often
is from
more
the Age of
clinical and less
Persuasion.
human. Consider that advertising was born in print, usually newspapers, a medium designed to convey information with precision, economy, and without a lot of emotional window dressing. As advertising spread to radio, it brought its print sensibilities with it.
Is this new Pontiac equipped with freewheeling? Naturally. Has it synchro silent second? Of course. Is the body by Fisher? Certainly. Well, apparently Pontiac has all the latest developments of automotive engineering. Absolutely. That is why Pontiac is today the chief of values.
The change to advertising, and I would argue to worldwide communication, can be traced here to New York during advertising's creative revolution, championed by the agency Doyle, Dane, Bernbach. So many of today's greatest, most effective, most entertaining ads owe everything to that place and that time. Advertising had never seen such a level of sophistication and wit before. An early DDB client was Orbach's department stores. Consider their print ad for back-to-school kids wear. Most of the visual was a blank white background. Tucked in a corner is a decidedly cheesed-off looking 8-year-old boy. In tiny print across the top is the headline, "We regret to inform you your school stuff is ready at Orbach's." For Levy's Bakery, a troubled company with a tiny budget, DDB grew the brand with the print headline, "You don't have to be Jewish to love Levy's real Jewish rye." One ad showed a Native American man enjoying a sandwich made of Levy's rye. Another showed a 12-year-old African American kid. It gets better. Bernbach went so far as to insist the product's name change to include the word Jewish, though its ads were designed to attract non-Jewish consumers. Not only did the brand thrive, but bookstores and poster shops sold countless copies of the ads to people everywhere. Almost overnight, engaging, entertaining concepts were all the rage among the world's best marketers. As ad great Howard Luck Gossage observed, people don't read ads, they read what interests them. Sometimes it's an ad. The phrase, "what interests them," is the key insight there. Recently, I heard a psychologist say that if something excites us, we learn it faster, and it's easier to recall. Today, great marketing understands that and is comprised of endless creative possibilities operating within a common global language. Case in point, a lovely ad for Canon, celebrated with the Radio Grand Prix at Cannes in 2008, which uses an engaging creative device to make its point. It was the first time a Japanese spot won the top radio prize. Here's a translation.
Baby stood up for the first time.
I could see fireworks from my balcony.
My kids were waving at me from the roller coaster.
The Groomelders knew I kissed her.
Our fat cat jumped.
Her baby shoe fell off.
My husband did a bungee jump. Came back up. I went back down again.
My wife finally smiled at me. It's been 5 years since she smiled at me.
The moments you want captured won't wait for you. Now with a startup time of just 0.2 of a second. EOS KISS Digital Camera. Canon Marketing Japan.
In this era of candy-coated information, in which, yes, this program cries mea culpa, democratic politics has taken a hit. Civic duty has given way to the view that the job of politics and politicians is to amuse. When elections are viewed as boring, voter turnout wanes. That new reality has created a shift in the type of candidates aspiring to politics. Until the advent of Ronald Reagan, it was laughable to imagine an actor could aspire to high political office.
That's a hot one, isn't it?
In the age of persuasion, the entertainment chops required for TV and film have become survival gear on the campaign trail. Speaking the language of entertainment is the key, in many cases, to government funding. NASA learned this the hard way. During the 60s thrilling race to the moon, funding and public attention were relatively easy to come by. After Apollo 11, public interest faded. The air back on Earth smelled of funding cuts, even before Pete Conrad became the third man to set foot on Luna Firma.
And that may have been a fall for Seal, but that's a long one for me.
For NASA, the quest for exploration and the quest for funding are equally challenging, the latter being dependent on appealing to the public with the promise of great television. As the shuttle became more advanced and the landings became more like a smooth airplane touchdown, it became less dramatic. The ho-hum, been there, done that shuttle program and space station present an optics problem. Humans on Mars? A colony on the moon? That's where the funding is. Like so many government-dependent agencies, NASA knows it must sing for its supper.
I was rolling on the moon one day. In a merry month of May.
In advertising, the issue of how much entertainment versus product information is not just a question to be pondered. It's a long-standing source of friction between ad agencies and their clients. Agencies, on one hand, know that entertainment is a vital way to get attention in an overly saturated media world. Advertisers, on the other hand, often feel too much entertainment eats into important product information time. Both are correct. That's why the smartest marketers know the answer lies in the perfect balance of the two. Sometimes the fight for that balance happens within the ad agency walls. Years ago, when I wore an agency writer's shoes, I wrote a radio campaign introducing Canada to a drink called Koala Springs. The Koala Springs CEO, based in Australia, loved the radio campaign so much he wanted to run it across North America. That cheesed off my agency's San Francisco office, who handled Koala Springs in the States. So they tried to talk the client out of his decision, insisting that the entertainment quotient of the spots, the style of humor, wouldn't play to an American audience. But the truth was that the entertaining aspect of the commercials played just fine in the States.
Beautiful.
The Australian CEO knew it, and so did we. Hey, score one for Canada.
We're saluting all those brave people who were the first to actually try koala. And our brave guest of honor today is Mrs. Maureen Schuler.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Maureen, can I call you Maureen?
Please.
It all started with your recent trip around the world, is that right?
Yes. Of all the many, many delicacies I tried, one stood out from all the rest.
Really? And that was?
Koala. Even the very sound of it makes my mouth water.
I bet, and that spelled trouble.
Especially with my neighbors. One day I happened to say that nothing tasted better than a cold koala on a hot day.
Oh, how did they react?
They moved.
Right. Oh, what happened next?
I told my husband I was serving chilled koala with dinner.
Oh, what did he do?
He told me never to go near our poodle again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any last words of advice, Mrs. Schuler?
No.
Okay. This brave moment was brought to you by Koala Springs, the refreshing drink made with sparkling mineral water and Australian fruit juices like lemon and lime, mango, orange, and passion fruit. Koala Springs. A little koala never hurt anyone.
One of the other aspects of this campaign was the fact that talent was American, which meshed perfectly with our Canadian creative. It was yet another factor in our favor that swung the vote to air it across North America.
We're saluting all those brave people who were the first to actually try koala. And our brave guest today wishes to remain anonymous.
Correct.
Tell us what happened, Mr. X, in your own words.
Well, the first time I called some friends and told them I had a couple of cold koalas in the fridge.
What happened?
They called the police.
I see. What happened next?
I called Mrs. Krupski.
Mrs. Krupski.
My mother.
Uh-huh.
I invited her to a barbecue.
Well, that's nice.
Told her I'd be serving some delicious koala.
And then?
She put Mr. Krupski on the phone.
Your father?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. What'd he do?
He called the police.
Your dad called the police?
Yeah.
Is there an upside to all of this?
Yeah, the police enjoy the koala a lot.